Hi everyone, my name is Joel Silva and welcome back to another Data in the Wild episode hosted by Data Meaning. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe the channel below and click the bell to turn on notifications to be the first to know every time we upload a new video. Today, we're covering how to do basic configs in your Alteryx Designer. Let's get started. First of all, let me explain the simple workflow that we have here. It reads a dataset that contains information about countries and continents, and as we can see, only the first line of a new continent has that information. So I put the multi-row formula here to fill all continents lines. After that, we have a filter to restrict our dataset to American countries and then order them by descending. This data is exported to an Excel file named American Countries. In the second part of the workflow, we filter the countries of Oceania and see on the browse tools all that records of both outputs of the filter. So it's a pretty simple workflow to demonstrate some basic configs that you can use here. Let's start on the Canvas tab on Workflow Configuration here in the left side of Alteryx Designer. So the first option, Layout Direction, can be horizontal or vertical, as we can see right here. So I prefer to use the first one. Second, annotations. The default value is show. As we can see here, I did some annotations before, and we can choose to hide it or to show with the two names. I prefer to use just to show. And connection progress, the default value is show only when running. So when we run on workflow, we can see that information here, but then this disappear. So I prefer to use the show option because I always can see all the records that are going through the tools in my workflow. The next config I want to show you, it's on Runtime tab. Right here we can see two very basic options, very easy to use. First one, disable all browse tools. When we check this box, we can see that the browse tools are disabled. So when I run the workflow, I cannot see the results. So next one, it's disable all tools that write output. When I check that, the output tool is disabled. So when I run the workflow, it will not write an Excel file, as we can see here in the workflow messages. Those options can be very useful when you're building a workflow and don't want to write your output files yet, and when you're facing a heavy workflow where the runtime becomes very longer with the browse tools, because the browse tools load all the records in your dataset as opposite to the result window, which only loads the beginning part of the dataset depending on the size of the dataset. Now, let's talk about customized window layout. There are two icons on the right side of the title bar of each window, Window State and Auto Hide. Let's start with Window State. The drop-down arrow provides options for displaying a particular window. The first one, floating. The window floats on the top of the interface. To redock the window, we can just right-click on the window name and select Dockable, or select the Dock button. The window returns to last docked position. Next one, Dockable. This is the full selection. It indicates the window can be docked to the interface. Next, Debit Document. Selecting this option places the window as a debit document in the workflow canvas area. When we right-click the window name, we can view the menu options. So let's return to Dockable. Next one, Auto Hide. The window becomes hidden behind a tab in the same panel of its last docked location. We can view the window by hovering our cursor over the tab. Next, Hide. The window is hidden from view. We can use the shortcut keys found in the View menu right here to open and close our windows. So the last one button is Auto Hide right here. The Auto Hide button auto hides the window behind the tab, just as we can saw in the Auto Hide option inside the window stage right here. When we select the Auto Hide button again, we can view the window normally. Another configuration that we can make here, it's on the palette tool. We can add or remove tools from the palette, just clicking right here. So here we have all the palettes, all the tabs that we have, and all the tools inside those palettes. So let's imagine that I can only maintain input data, output data, and browse tools on the In-Out tab. So let's click OK. Now we can see only just 3 tools. Let's select all again. Let's see another basic configuration. This one can be used by those who want more personalization, organization, and symmetry when building workflows. Let's click on Options, User Settings, Edit User Settings. Let's go to the Canvas tab. So right here we can change our background if you want, just like turn it black, as we can see right here. Let's put it white again. So beside that, we can also put a grid on the canvas, and also we can change the color of the grid points, the size of the distance between those points, and also snap tools to grid. Let's see that. So right here we can see the grid, and if we look at it closely, we can see that the tools are fitted to the grid points exactly. So let's see more options. We can also change the type of connection settings. The default value is auto route bezier. So let's change that to straight and see on the background how the workflow will appear. Just like that. also we have one more option, which is auto route perpendicular. That's it. So another helpful options right here, it's about the zone level. The default, we can turn it more closely or not. We can remember the last zone level per workflow, for each workflow that we have. We can display macro indicators on the tools. So if a tool it's a macro, it will appear an icon on it to show that to us. Also, we can change the lines of the connection settings, and the lines color, it's black right now, but we can change that as well. The progress, we already seen that on the workflow configuration, and the annotation settings, we can also change these configurations. One more configuration here, it's the containers colors, so we can change that as well right here. That wraps up today's video on how to do basic configs in your Alteryx Designer. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to know when future videos are posted.